Hey guys, I'm Melissa. I'm a registered dietitian. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been to my channel before, then you might have heard me mention quite a few times that I love traveling. And today I wanted to make a little bit of a different video for you that's kind of along the travel line. So one of my favorite things when I go to a new country and experience a new culture is learning about what kind of food they eat. I love trying new cultural foods, learning about why certain countries eat what they do, what other countries influence that food. I just think there's so much to learn about different cultural foods, and I think it's so interesting. So this year I wanted to set a kind of fun challenge for myself to try a new cuisine every single month. And I want to share it with you. I want to tell you about what cuisine I'm trying and a little bit about that culture and that cuisine. So we are starting with one of my personal favorites, which is Ethiopian food. And I've tried Ethiopian food before and I love it, but I didn't really know a ton about the culture. So I thought this would be a good one to start with. Also because I think Ethiopian food is so great and such a cool experience, and I feel like a lot of people don't know about it. So I thought I would share it with you. So let's jump into learning about some Ethiopian food. So first things first, Ethiopia is right about here. It's in the kind of northeast of Africa. And because of the terrain of Ethiopia, there's lots of mountains. Back, in history, the mountains kept a lot of travelers and traders from coming into the country. So because of that, there's not a whole lot of influence from other countries on the cuisine of Ethiopia, which I think is kind of cool. If you've ever eaten Ethiopian food, I'm sure that you know that it's very unique, and I think that that's kind of awesome that they really have their own thing going and don't have a ton of influence from other countries. So the first thing to know about food in Ethiopia is that eating is a very communal experience. You are not expected to eat alone, and oftentimes you don't really even get served on a plate. A lot of things are served in platters. They are meant to be shared amongst friends and family, and yeah, they just see it as a time to spend with the people that you love, which I think is really great, and I think is a theme in a lot of other cultures that is not a theme in America. So my personal favorite part of Ethiopian food, and I think what makes it such a different experience, is that you don't use any utensils when you're eating Ethiopian food. Instead, you use what is called Injera, which is really the staple grain of the Ethiopian cuisine. Injera is made from a grain called teff, and it is made into a flour, and then it's fermented and then made into kind of a big round pancake. And it's a very porous, spongy bread. Because of the fermentation, it's also a little bit sour. And it goes really well with all the other flavors of the Ethiopian cuisine. So then the entree part of most Ethiopian meals is made up of kind of stew-like dishes. So the national dish is called wat, and it is a spicy stew. It can be made with tons of different things, from chicken, beef, lamb, goat, to lentils and chickpeas. You also won't see any pork or shellfish in the Ethiopian diet because of religious beliefs. So in this wat, what makes it spicy is a spice called babari. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I looked it up on Google Translate, and that's what it told me. So this is a spice that's used in all of the wat dishes, and it is very unique to Ethiopia, and it's what gives the wat that specific flavor. Some other common spices that are used in Ethiopian dishes are mitmita, which is a salty, dry seasoning. Awaze, or awaze, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, which is the paste version of the barbari, and niterkibe, which is an Ethiopian butter used in cooking. So all of these different spices are used to create these kind of stew-like dishes, which are then served with the injera, normally even on top of the injera, and oftentimes together. A lot of times you don't see, just one main course. You'll see multiple different dishes to share with each other. So all of those things are served on top of the injera, and you then use the injera to scoop it up almost like a spoon. So if you go to an Ethiopian restaurant, you'll likely get whatever you order on top of a big piece of injera, and then you'll also probably be served extra on the side. So you just break off a little piece and scoop up whatever dish you would like, and you eat it that way. And to me, this is what makes Ethiopian food so fun, and I feel like rather than it just being a different taste, it's also kind of a whole different experience when you're eating, which I think is really cool. And even though you're in, you know, Raleigh or whatever, you can go into a restaurant and kind of experience a huge part of another culture just by going to eat at that restaurant. The Ethiopian diet is also really healthy. So it's packed full of nutrients because it's so chock full of vegetables and really great spices. Also, the injera, which is made with the teff, is high in iron. It's a whole grain, so it's got tons of fiber in it. The fermentation makes it good for your gut, and it's also a really great cuisine for vegetarians. They use a ton of lentils and chickpeas, which are really great sources of vegetarian protein and are also high in fiber and other nutrients. So now let me tell you what I ate when I went out for Ethiopian food. So I went to a restaurant called Away's, which again, I feel like I'm probably pronouncing wrong. It's in Cary, North Carolina. Although I think there's a couple different, maybe like 2 or 3 other Ethiopian restaurants in the Triangle. I know there's one in Raleigh near NC State, and I believe there's also one in Durham. But if you know any other ones, then leave them below because I would love to try them. So when I went out for Ethiopian, I decided to get a vegetarian platter to share with my friend. So in this vegetarian platter, we had seer, which is a spicy red lentil stew. We had gamen, which are Ethiopian collard greens. Tikil gamen, which is cabbage. And then kik alicha, which is a yellow split pea stew. Misir azifa, which is a like brown lentil stew. And then beans and carrots. And like I said, this was served on top of the injera, and then we were also served extra injera on the side. And I personally love the injera, so I tend to probably use too much injera, if I'm honest with myself. But it was really great, and like I've said a million times now, I love Ethiopian food. I can't wait to have it again. And I hope that this video encourages you to go out and try it. I think that's all the information that I have for today. If you liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up. If you like Ethiopian food, then give it a thumbs up as well. And let me know what other cuisines you would like me to cover, because I've got 12 more months of this, and maybe more if I feel like it. So let me know what other cuisines you want me to cover. If there's any cool like cultural restaurants in Raleigh that you guys know of, then also let me know that, because I would love to try them. And yeah, let me know what other things you would like me to include in these videos. This was the first one, obviously, so I'm kind of experimenting with the information that I've given you and the layout and everything. So if you liked it, let me know. If there's other things you would like me to include, then please let me know that as well. And yeah, I believe that is it. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you next week. Bye.